بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Before I start, I want to remind everyone that please, in your prayers, remember the whole of humanity, that Allah may keep everyone safe and sound and free from harm. I'll start by reciting chapter 2, verse 30. If I can find it. أصابكم من مصيبة فبما كسبت أيديكم ويعفو عن كثير. And its English translation is, and whatever misfortune befalls you, It is on account of what your hands have wrought, and he pardons much. The other verses I have, where I won't recite the Arabic for different reasons. This is chapter 4, verses 109 to 111. Behold, you are they who may contend on their behalf in this world's life, but who will contend with Allah on their behalf on the day of resurrection, or who will have charge of their affairs, and whoever does evil or wrongs his soul. This is talking about our own souls, not others. And whoever does evil or wrongs his soul, then asks forgiveness of Allah, will find Allah forgiving, merciful. And whoever commits a sin, commits it only against himself, and Allah is ever knowing, wise. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyul azim. I've given this the title of why you should prepare for the hereafter. And people ask this question, why do we have to do it? And my answer is that it is really a training, a constant reminder of this life. How? That, our lives don't come to an end once we are laid in the grave or die. All that happens is that it takes a different form, a form that we cannot perceive or conceive. But the same thing happens from the very beginning, from conception. And in asking us to plan for the hereafter and saying that if you don't, then you are the ones who will suffer, God is pointing to things in this world and saying that you go through various stages that you can perceive, which are in front of you. And if you do not plan for those stages, then you will suffer. For the hereafter, God says, it's totally in my hands and I'll forgive you. But in this life, it's in your hands. And you have to prepare and plan. And, this is obvious. If you think about it, life starts in the womb. And every mother's objective is to have a healthy child. But if she's going to have a healthy child, then she has to plan to do certain things and stick to that plan. What she eats, what she drinks, exercise, and so on. So that when that stage ends and the next stage begins, she is strong and healthy, and so is the baby that is born. If she does not exercise, or if she does not eat or drink correct things, then something goes wrong and there are problems. The Quran answers that. Whatever misfortune befalls you, it is on account of what your hands have wrought. But it's a result of what you did. God cannot come down from heavens and put that right. He's training and preparing you for the next life. This thing about prepare for the next life is also a lesson and training and preparation about how to live this life. The parents and children then start on the next phase, which is preparing for the time when parents are no longer there to help and protect the children. So children go to school. They try and pass exams, get good results and certificates. And then they may learn a trade. And then find employment. Why? Because next stage is that now you're on your own. You're independent. It's the same. When you die, you're on your own. No one else can help you. God may listen to your prayers about your parents and grandparents and so on, and may grant those prayers, but that's a different thing. Again, as I said, it's a preparation for the next stage of your life. If you haven't learned it right, what are you going to do? You'll probably get a manual job, a laboring job, a low-paid job. You'll be washing dishes in a restaurant. How much can you expect to earn if you do that? So digging ditches, or whatever it may be. Because you did not prepare for this stage of your life in the last stage. And that is what the hereafter is. The next stage starts. It consisting of marriage, buying a house, having a roof over your head, and so on. And you need to save to build up a deposit. You need to be able to repay mortgage installments. You need to prepare for your retirement. People, when they're young, they say, well, why should I bother to make preparation for the hereafter? You know, it's so many years away, etc. Compare it with your retirement. Going to the hereafter is retiring from this life. If you don't start preparing for retirement when you're about 20 years old, then when you retire, either you'll have to work longer than you expected, or if you retire, you may live in poverty. And so these things go on. As I said, if you make arrangements for your retirement, if you save, put money aside when you retire, then you're comfortable. If not, you're not comfortable. God is telling you the same thing will happen in the hereafter. And what you have to remember is that if when you retire, you suddenly say, well, can I give you some more money and get extra income in retirement? Usually the answer is no. And this is what the Holy Quran says happens. When you die, after you die, people will ask God and say, please, give us another chance. Send us back. This time we will do better. But God will say, no, you had your chance. I know you won't do any better. You'll be exactly the same. Isn't that the same as your retirement. When you retire, you haven't saved up and your pension pot is very small, and you ask for a large pension. What will your employer or the pension company say? Sorry, you lost your chance. That's God's reply. But the point is this: isn't worrying about the hereafter actually a methodology, a way that God is training us for a successful and happy life here in this world? So in the early stages, you can work hard. You can do overtime. You can do more than one job, and so on. Your shift might be 7 or 8 hours, but perhaps you can work 10, 12, 14 hours. But what happens if you waste the money you earn and you don't have a deposit to buy the house? Or money when you come to retire. Once you've retired, you can't work as hard. You can't do long hours. You can't do 2 or 3 jobs. How are you going to manage? How are you going to build up what you need to buy a house or to retire? And it's the same thing with the hereafter. The Holy Quran elsewhere refers to the fact that people do good deeds and then they waste them. They do someone a favor and then spoil it by insulting that person or saying how good they are because they did this person that favor, and so on. And the two things run in parallel. Just like this man working very hard, doing overtime and so on, then goes out and wastes his money on whatever it may be. And then he's got nothing left to save towards the house or towards the retirement. It's the same thing. You do good deeds. And then you waste them all by doing something wrong. So the example that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his life, a lady died. And she was very meticulous in her prayers and so on. And the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were arguing about, she was so pious and, so meticulous in her prayers and fasting and all this kind of thing. They were wondering how God will elevate her, to what station. And the Holy Prophet said, surely she is in hell. And the reason was that she had a cat and she wouldn't let the cat out of the house to get fresh air and sunshine. She wouldn't feed the cat properly and so on. See, all her good deeds were wasted by this wrong act. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing in this life. If you work very hard and then you waste the results of what you gain. You do overtime, you earn money, and then I don't know, whatever it is, you waste it rather than invest it or save it or build it. The idea about doing good deeds is that you start with a small good deed and then you build it up and you take care that you don't waste the benefits of that good deed. That good deed is not only supposed to help someone else, but also make you a better person. But if it doesn't make you a better person, then to some degree, the effect of that good deed has been wasted. It's the same as the example I gave, that you work hard. You do lots of overtime, you earn lots of money, just like earning lots of good deeds. But then you waste that money. Then you waste those good deeds. The point I'm making is that we try and look at these things, instructions, why the Quran, why Allah tells us to do certain things, as if this life and the hereafter are isolated. No, they're joined together. What the Holy Quran says, do for the hereafter, if we translate that into doing the same or similar things for this life, then we'll have a successful and easy life in this world and a successful and easy life in the hereafter. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Qur'anil azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim. Innahu ta'ala jawadun kareemun malikun barrufur rahim. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasul. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma ansur man nasara dina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam waj'alna minhum waqsul man khazala dina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa la taj'alna minhum. Ibadallah rahmukumullah, inna allaha ya'muru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i zil qurba وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, qad qamatis salah, qad qamatis salah. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdinas siratal mustaqim Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين
آمين.
قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده
ربنا
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده
ربنا
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. No. Thank you for joining us for today's Friday service. I hope you found it useful. We depend on your comments and suggestions to make our service better. So if you have any ideas, please let us know. In the meantime, I take my leave of you. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye.